Council prayer. Almighty God, we pray for your blessing upon this council. Help and prosper its work for the advancement and benefit of its people, so that peace and happiness, unity and justice may be established among us all. Amen. Manningham Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners of the land and waterways now known as Manningham. Council pays respect to elders past, present and emerging, and values the ongoing contribution to enrich and appreciate the cultural heritage of Manningham. Council acknowledges and respects Australia's First Peoples as traditional owners of lands and waterways across country and encourages reconciliation between all. Manningham Council also values the contribution made to Manningham over the years by people of diverse backgrounds and cultures. I welcome all members of the public who have joined us in person and online to observe tonight's proceedings. I would like to advise that tonight's meeting is being audio and video recorded. All care will be taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the gallery, it is assumed your consent is given in the event your voice and/or image is broadcast by Council. No additional recording of the meeting is permitted without Council's consent. Council meetings are conducted in accordance with our governance rules. I will introduce each item of business as listed on the agenda, calling it by number and by reading the title. I will then call for a mover and seconder of a motion on the item before opening any debate. Only councillors can join the debate on an item. Councillors may adopt the recommendation in the report or propose amendments and supplementary motions. I would like to draw your attention to item 7 on tonight's agenda, public question time. Public question time provides people with an opportunity to ask questions of the Council. Council has allocated 30 minutes for question time, and the process for public question time is in our governance rules. Questions must be received prior to the start of the meeting to be asked. Where we receive advance notice of a question in accordance with our governance rules, we will provide a verbal response to the question at our meeting. Questions we receive just prior to the meeting may be taken on notice if we don't have the information available to provide a meaningful response. If this happens, we will provide a written response to the question within 10 working days. Our governance rules provide that we will deal with a maximum of 2 questions per person and up to 4 questions on any one issue. These rules will be enforced to ensure a broad range of topics and perspectives can be heard during question time. I'm going to move to item number 2, apologies and requests for leave of absence. We have received an apology from Councillor Conlon for this evening's meeting. Councillors, are there any requests for leave of absence? Item number 3, prior notification of conflict of interest. No prior notifications of conflict of interest have been received. Would anyone like to give a notice of conflict of interest? Item number 4, confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover?
That the minutes of the council meeting held on the 26th of November 2024 be confirmed.
Thank you, Councillor Carly Lang. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Laura Main. I'm going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors, and that's carried unanimously. Item number 5, presentations, and there are no presentations. Item number 6, petitions, and there are no petitions for tabling this evening. Item number 7, public question time. Are there any questions from the public?
I might just quickly check in with governance. I think we may well have one question that we received late through customer service. You can just bear with us, Mayor.
Thank you, Kim. So we do have one question from the gallery. Eva, you're welcome. You're invited to come up to the lectern, and you do have 2 minutes to provide background to your questions, and then ask your questions. Given that we've only just received the questions, we may not be able to provide you with a full answer, so we may have to provide you with a written response. But please proceed.
Yesterday to the customer service we got lost, so apologies for that.
Okay, well, I apologise for that as well, but please start. So you've got 2 minutes to provide some preamble and then ask your questions.
Perfect. So good evening, councillors. My name is Eva Florida, and I've been a proud resident of Doncaster for over a decade. I'm here today to voice my objection to the proposed development at 449 to 461 Doncaster Road, which would displace 3x6 affordable rental homes with 25 high-density three-story dwellings. Because under 2 days, our petition against this project has gained 60 signatures, and it continues to grow. This speaks to the deep concern within the community about the potential impacts of this development. The 6 rental homes set for demolition are lifelines for families in our neighborhood, including my own. These homes provide much-needed affordable housing in a suburb where the median house price exceeds $1.5 million and rents have surged up 25% over the past 5 years. Losing these properties will displace families and further diminish housing diversity, contradicting the council's stated values of inclusivity and affordability. This development would remove mature trees that currently provide habitat for native wildlife, including possums that are a unique part of our neighborhood. The proposed high-density design will contribute to the urban heat island effect and overshadow nearby homes and public areas. These outcomes are inconsistent with Manningham's priorities around environmental stability and protecting biodiversity. The community is already under strain from the Northeast Link project and nearby developments that have been in our Doncaster the past 5 years, causing traffic congestion, noise, and disruption to daily life. Adding another large-scale development risks further eroding livability and safety for families and children who walk to nearby schools and play in local parks, including the new Montessori kindergarten that just opened up across the road. So my question to the council is, how will the council ensure that developments align with its goals, affordability, sustainability, and livability as outlined in Manningham Planning Scheme and Council Plan? And will you consider revising or imposing stricter conditions on this proposal to protect affordable housing and preserve the unique character of Doncaster?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for providing that background and the questions. I'm going to ask our CEO, Andrew Day, to respond.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Eva, and my apologies that we weren't able to get a detailed response to you tonight. We will take it on notice and we will write back to you specifically in relation to your proposal, and I won't touch specifically on that development as it currently stands. We will come back to you with information on where that's sitting at the moment, but I do think you have raised a number of really challenging elements that council faces, particularly with the state government's announcement of 39,000 additional homes expected in Manningham by 2051. So they are all elements that the new council are very much aware of and will be challenges for this council, have been challenges historically and will continue to be challenges into the future in terms of managing growth appropriately and all of the public infrastructure, parks, open spaces, all those sort of things that need to go along with growth to make sure that A, we've got a place that is livable, but B, that I think, as you rightly say, we've also got different styles and availability of types of housing within Manningham, from affordability right through to everything from high density and townhouses and also the suburbs that people love about Manningham as well. So thank you for the question. We will respond back through Andrew McMaster's area to you in writing.
Thank you. Thank you very much for asking your question. Do I have any other questions from the public? Okay, I'm going to move on to item number 8. Admission of urgent business, and there are no items of urgent business. Item number 9, planning permit applications, and there are no planning permit applications that require a decision of council this month. So that brings me to item number 10, city planning. 10.1, statutory planning application activity, Q1, July to September 2024. Do I have a mover?
Madam Mayor, I move as on the paper.
Thank you, Councillor Jeff Goff. Do I have a seconder?
Madam Mayor, I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Peter Bain. Councillor Goff, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, and I think this is actually the first time it's actually come up to council that we actually have this particular item on the agenda, because the number of applications that have come up to council in the past year or so have been very, very few. But the department in that area has been putting through quite a bit of work and quite a few permits and whatever. The report actually outlines the scope and sequence of the work of the planning department, and I think even blind Freddie can actually see that things are hitting hard in Manningham, because the number of actual applications are sort of coming down quite a bit, I believe, over the, I suppose, for the particular quarter. I don't think the number of planning applications is up to where it was. If you look at the yearly ones, the yearly figures, in the past years, it's coming down a little bit, and I think that's a bit of a sign of the times. As far as the responsiveness is concerned, it looks good in that we have responded, and especially I just want to point out to councillors, they've got a new fast-track program for planning applications that fit into a particular mould, and 10 days they've got to make a decision on those, and we've actually met our target within Manningham quite well into that particular area of exceeding it. I suppose we've hit 100%, so I don't know whether you can do 101% of planning applications. I suppose it's doing some more than you've actually got. But no, that's quite an achievement in that regard. Again, looking at what's coming through in great numbers, and I know that it doesn't have, we've got two things here, multi-dwelling applications, and we've got subdivisions as it's been put out there in the quarter, and we've got the single dwelling. So we can see what is happening in our area in that in planning applications, just in the first quarter, we've had 11 single dwellings, 49 subdivisions, so somebody is dividing a block up, and the applications, and the other 47 are multi-dwellings, in other words, more than one dwelling on a site. So there is a change afoot, and as I was walking around, Madam Mayor, I did notice that a lot of the houses built in the 60s, 50s, 60s and 70s is being turned over to, in my area, in the most part, 2 houses on a particular block of land. It is being regenerated. Everything is being regenerated around there, and I think these graphs actually look at that and actually make that particular point of not justifying, but that is what is occurring in our area. And of course, anyone with a block of land has a certain right, and they put in their applications, and it's good to see. I just would encourage that we proceed as quickly as we possibly can with planning applications and get them in a timely manner, as cost of housing is dependent on getting these things done very quickly, and it's one way in which council can help the cost of living crisis and the cost of building crisis that is evident at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Goff. Councillor Peterbain, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Do I have any speakers against the motion? Do I have any other speakers for the motion? Well, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Item number 11, connected communities. 11.1, membership recommendations and terms of reference updates for the Community Grants Assessment Panel. Do I have a mover?
That the recommendation be adopted, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carly Lang. And do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Laura Main. Councillor Lang, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to encourage my fellow councillors to endorse tonight's membership recommendation, as well as the terms of reference updates or amendments, as it might be called. In terms of the current membership of our independent community members. I want to thank them, and their membership expires in March 2025. And they have been responsible for our Manningham community grant streams. So our annual grants, our community partnership grants, and our neighbourhood house grants. And I think what's really important is the panel's objectives, because they are important as we move into a new terms of reference. So if bear with me as I detail them. It's to support the delivery of programs and projects that benefit Manningham community and demonstrate public value. It's to ensure proposed funding allocations align with Council's strategies, programs, guidelines and key priorities. And it's also to apply that Council endorse the guidelines and assessment criteria when evaluating the community grants program. I think that's really important to highlight, because that's what we're asking our community grants program panel members to do, to look at applications that we get from all our community groups, which we value so much, and to decide to endorse them or to support them. But it's about on what criteria and the objective that they have, and those objectives are really important. So this piece of work and the people that have put their hand up to be part of this new panel is really important and has a lot of public value, because it's about how we're spending our ratepayers' money on the programs that mean a lot to them and give that public value. The changes, though, is the endorsement of two panels, so two separate panels. So I'm really pleased to say we had quite a few people apply to be on the panel, and I really thank them for that. And having those two streams will mean that their time is prioritised and that their expectations are clear on what they're doing. And also for that assessment criteria as well. So, you know, we were looking for people that had previous experience, diversity of community knowledge and skills, diversity of age and gender balance. So I just encourage fellow councillors to look at the objectives, to support those people that have put their hand up, but also to thank those people that have and the work that they've got to do for our community in terms of supporting our community groups and our grants process. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Councillor Mayne, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to briefly really reiterate the sentiments of Councillor Lang. So I believe this is a great process. I'm so glad we bring our community experts into this realm. This is a decision to introduce a community panel was actually brought on by a review of our community grants policy 2022-2025 with the primary objective to provide a real community lens to this community assessment program. So I really think this is just a great example of us improving our governance processes, and of course I'd like to thank the previous community panel members for their really valued work, and I look forward to seeing the outcomes from this new group. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Do I have any other speakers for the motion? I will speak to the motion quickly. I would just like to thank the community members of the 2022 to 2025 Community Grants Assessment Panel for volunteering their time over 2023 and 2024. We're very lucky to have members of the community that are so willing to support Manningham in these volunteer capacities. And I'd like to name them: Sally Goldner, AM, James Grimmer and Cindy Liu, and thank them for all of their thoughtfulness in helping to manage this panel for us. I am going to put this to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Item number 12, City Services. 12.1, Draft Manningham Road Safety Strategy and Action Plan 2025 to 2034. Do I have a mover? Councillor Anna Chen.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, councillor. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Jim Grievous. Councillor Chen, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, I will. And Mayor, since implementing Council's previous road safety strategy in 2010, we have seen a downward trend in crash accidents. However, between 2017 and 2023, there are still 409 serious injuries and 11 fatalities on Manningham roads. It is time to update our strategy and to ensure it aligns with the direction of our council's plan and other relevant state and national road safety regulations and strategies. So in January this year, council has successfully obtained a TAC, that is Traffic Accident Commission grant to help subsidize the cost of developing a new draft strategy. To develop the strategy, officers used crash and incident data and the 217 feedback from the community and other stakeholders, including local authorities, road safety partners, and community groups. The new strategy will provide a framework and action plan that aligns with the Victorian and National Road Safety Strategies 2021 and 2030 to adopt safe citizen principles to reduce crashes, particularly those involving pedestrians and cyclists. The principles are safe people, safe speeds, safe roads, and safe vehicles. The draft strategy also considers infrastructure maintenance and improvements, advocacy to state and federal governments, and road safety education and outreach programs. If the draft is endorsed tonight, and it will be available for public review and consultation in early 2025 to ensure we can develop a final version that will reflect our community needs. So the final version will be presented again to Council for final endorsement and implementation before 31st May 2025. So I ask councillors, my fellow councillors, support for this draft strategy on table. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Chen. Councillor Grievous, would you like to speak to the
Nothing
motion?
further, Madam Mayor.
Do I have any speakers against the motion? Do I have any other speakers for the motion? Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to add to what Councillor Chen was talking about, I also wanted to highlight that in conjunction with this draft proposed strategy, we're also looking at the development of our revised bicycle and movement strategy, and that's proposed to commence around March next year. Because I know how important that strategy was to some of our previous budget submission participants, as well as our current community panel representatives. So I just wanted to highlight that. And the other part that I wanted to highlight of this proposed strategy, and that I would invite community representatives to pay attention to, is the four main categories that it sits under. So it's about safe people on our roads. It's about safe speeds on our roads. It's about safe roads. And it's about safe vehicles. And if I can just highlight those four areas for a moment. So that safe people is looking about education and behaviour and what we do. And it may end up being that we need to be a bit more aware. I was only at a resident meeting today where 3 different people were there and we all gave different speeds, what we thought the speed of this one particular road was. So there is, to keep us safe, we all need to be on the same page. About safe speeds, it's knowing and being aware and having visual cues to the speed limits which we're meant to be abiding by. For example, our school zones, making sure that we come down to 40. It's about safe roads, so the designs and the maintenance and the prioritisation of our road networks, and of also the advocacy for our state government roads. And then it's about safe vehicles, so looking at how we reduce the crash risk and have safety on our roads for our drivers, as well as those shared pedestrian and movements and our bicycle riders. So I just wanted to highlight those areas because it is all about a safe system, a safe road network system, and those 4 areas being the priority. And I really encourage the community to have a look at those, especially the action plan, which is attached at the end, to make sure that they are really addressing those 4 key areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Do I have any other speakers for the motion? I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Item 13, experience and capability. 13.1, appointment of authorised officers, Planning and Environment Act 1987. Do I have a mover?
I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Laura Mayne. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Isabella Eltar. I'm going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Item 13.2, informal meetings of councillors. Do I have a mover?
Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Grievous. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Councillor Grievous, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Lang, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's again carried unanimously. Item 13.3, documents for sealing. Can I have a mover, please?
Mayor, I move the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Chen. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor El Taha. I will put that straight to a vote. All those in favour? And that is unanimous. Item 14, Chief Executive Officer. We have no Chief Executive Officer reports this month. Item 15, urgent business, and there are no items of urgent business. Item 16, councillor reports and question time. Councillors, would anyone like to provide a report or raise a question? Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have one question and one report. In terms of my question, I'd just like to know when the grass mowing and clipping in park orchards, especially around the 100 acres, as the fire break and along Park Road, is going to occur, because I'm receiving a number of complaints and queries from the park orchards residents.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. I'm going to ask our CEO to...
And then I've got a report. Do you want me to keep going or pause time?
2 minutes.
Well, no, I've paused the time, so
yeah.
I'll ask the CEO, please, to respond to your question first.
Thank you. I'll respond on behalf of the Director, who is unwell, unfortunately. So Park Road is due to be cut before Christmas. The reach mowers have started in Wonga Park last week and are currently in Warrandyte and are scheduled to be in Park Orchards within the next 2 weeks. And in terms of 100 acres, some works have been undertaken this week, with the remainder of the fire breaks to be cut by the end of this week.
Thank you so much, CEO, for that comment. And also, I just wanted to report, councillors, that we have been attending a number of Christmas functions in Manningham over the last couple of weeks and will continue to do so. I know that I've had the Warrandyte Riverside Market Christmas Party, Women's Friendship Group, Chinese Health Foundation of Australia, Warrandyte Mountain Bike Club, Manningham Business Network, our Chinese Senior Citizens Club, Pines Learning, Nanny Gallery, Lions Club of Park Orchards, Warrandyte Repair Cafe, our Persian Fair Festival, Wonga Park CFA put on a Christmas community meeting, and we have many other Christmas functions to attend. And the reason I am dressed so festive is that I would like to wish Merry Christmas to all my fellow councillors and Manningham community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Do I have any other reports or questions? Councillor Chen.
Thank you, Mayor. At a ladies' morning tea today, a lady told me about the lovely Christmas display near Park Road and suggested council to advise community about the lovely display. As a Ward Ward councillor, the Milligan family at number 10 Pushen Court, Doncaster East, has a large Christmas lights display for about 19 years, and which attracts nearly 5,000 people per year to visit the lovely display. Because there are so many lights displayed in Manningham, it doesn't matter the size, which sometimes some will be small, but some will be huge. And I just wondering, can we consider including these locations on either on our website or perhaps Manningham Matters, just to spread the joy and happiness in our community?
Thank you, Councillor Chen. I'm going to ask our CEO to respond to that question.
Might take that one on notice. Councillor, thank you very much. I think you've done a good job in promoting it just there and then, but we'll obviously take that on notice and do appreciate and agree that there are some wonderful Christmas light decorations right around Manningham.
Thank you, CEO. Councillors, other questions? Councillor El-Taha.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first thing I'll just start with is a report. So myself and other councillors and members of council office attended one of the community panel forums over the weekend, and these community panels come towards helping shape our next 4-year council plan. It was really interesting to get insights and understanding of the issues that the residents and citizens of Manningham are facing and see them work together towards prioritising those outcomes and honing in on specific issues. I look forward to hearing the outcomes of the panel from them and their areas of importance to shape the outlook for Manningham for this council term and the next council plan. And I wanted to thank very much the panellists for giving up their time to work on improving the outcomes as citizens of Manningham. In terms of my 2 questions, I did just want to address to the City Services team to get an understanding of their plans to deal with increased sanitation demand over the festive period. Parks, our recreational facilities and also our shopping precincts will have a greater demand of their use and also some of their nightlife activity. So it would be great to get an understanding of how this will be dealt with. Thank you. That's my first question. I do have another one.
Do you want to ask for your second question and then I'll ask the CEO to respond to both?
Sure. My second question is more sombre in nature, and it's just regarding the presence of an increase of homelessness people in our community. This is quite a confronting and alarming situation that has sort of come to the doorsteps of Manningham. And it is concerning because it impacts the sense of security people feel in their homes, but it's also a sign that something in our community isn't functioning properly as well, where we have, you know, the presence and prevalence of this, and we have people who feel like they don't have a safe space to sleep. So I just wanted to get an understanding of what we're doing as a council to help address and combat this issue, both as it impacts our residents, but also those who are unhoused who need support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll ask our CEO to address the first question.
Thank you, Councillor El-Taha, for the question, and certainly the crews are well attuned to busy periods such as Christmas, Easter and the like in terms of sanitation around parks, open spaces, activity centres, those sorts of things. So we certainly do have a clear routine during those periods of time where the teams sweep through. What we do appreciate though is obviously community letting us know, because occasionally there are big events that occur that we're not aware of. So we do encourage community members to let us know when they notice that there might have been a gathering or the like that we need to come through, and we do have crews that are on call that can come and sweep through and do some cleanup. But what I would also say is from a Manningham community is our community are incredibly proud of our open spaces and generally do a really good job of looking after them and cleaning up after events as well, which we greatly appreciate. It was a great example that I saw firsthand at the opening of the Victoria Street playground just recently, where there was a lot of community groups in there enjoying that, and one in particular that had an event on there, and they just did a magnificent job of cleaning up afterwards. So we're greatly appreciative of that as well, but certainly encourage community members to let us know if there is something out of the ordinary that we don't pick up on our usual sweeps through, that we need to come back and fix up for community.
Thank you, CEO. And I'll ask Lee Robson, Director of Connected Communities, to respond to the second question.
Thank you for your question regarding homelessness and sleeping rough, Councillor El Taha. So we know it's an increasing national problem and we're certainly seeing some of it here in Manningham. Last year we developed the Manningham Homelessness Protocol, which is how we provide a coordinated response to reports of homelessness in our community. It provides a framework for our council staff when we're contacted, and it ensures that a coordinated response with many of our partners is provided that treats the person with dignity and respect and provides and offers relevant services that address their complex needs. We understand this can be challenging for residents when they see people sleeping rough in parks. When we get a report of someone who's reported to be sleeping rough, we make a referral to the Salvation Army, who is our partner for service provision. We don't have social workers or trained housing officers on staff, but the Salvos do. They provide and, they attend and make an assessment of the person. They're able to offer services such as financial assistance, food and material support, referral to housing, and other services that an individual may require. And some of those are quite complex circumstances. It should be noted that it's someone who's sleeping rough can say no and refuse services, and we do see that. It's important to point out that sleeping rough is not a crime, and council and the police have no ability to forcefully move someone on unless they are breaking a law. So enforcement activity may be called upon if, for example, someone is camping with a tent, that contravenes the local law, or they're undertaking in some sort of criminal behaviour. And we then work collaboratively with the police to coordinate an action that tries to address the problem that's presenting. We have brought together many partners this year in a homelessness roundtable. Lots of discussion and sharing of resources. Out of that came a range of new initiatives, and an example of that is that there's now free showers and personal support packs that are available at all our major sporting facilities, and that's been used more than 60 times, on 60 occasions since the middle of the year, by people who want showers, no questions asked, treated with dignity and respect, and they're able to get personal care packs free of charge at our leisure facilities. In the new year, we'll be coming back together with our partners to look at new ways that we can continue to support homelessness, and we'll be keeping council and our community updated on those initiatives as they come about.
Thank you, Lee, for providing that comprehensive response, and thank you, Councillor El Taha, for asking such an important question. Do I have any other questions or reports? Councillor Griffiths.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a number of events that we have in Manningham throughout the year, and one of the pinnacle events is this Friday for everyone to turn up with approximately another 10,000 people, which is our great event. It's the Manningham Carols by Candlelight, so we look forward to seeing everyone there. It's from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, so I would suggest that people do get there early because it is a full house by the time we get to 6 o'clock. I'm really looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing all the councillors up there as well, and all the officers. And in saying that, I wish all the officers and staff and the councillors a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Councillor. And can you just tell everyone where these carols will be held?
I can do that, Madam Mayor. That will be at Rugby Lake Park.
Thank you.
And the weather will be 22 degrees, so it'll be fantastic weather for everyone to turn up.
It will be perfect.
No rain.
Any other reports or questions, councillors? And a dad joke too. Okay, I'm going to make a report, councillors, because I had the absolute pleasure last week of visiting a wonderful group of students at Heatherwood School, Year 7 students. So the students learned all about local government, including the role of mayor and all of you as councillors and myself, citizenship and council meetings. I then asked them what their priorities were, what was important to them in our community. And I thought you'd like to know, councillors, their priorities were parks and gardens, supporting homelessness, healthy ageing, more bins, better footpaths, more investment in arts and culture and libraries, more festivals, and more free dress days at school. It was wonderful to speak to these future leaders, but it's also wonderful to see such strong alignment between that feedback and the feedback that we're also getting from our community panel. And councillors, please, in my remaining time, I'd like to acknowledge Dilnaz Bilmoria, who has been very active in the Manningham community for being inducted into the Victorian Multicultural Honour Roll. She was inducted into the Multicultural Honour Roll last week as part of the Victorian Multicultural Commission Multicultural Excellence Awards 2024. Over the years, Dilnaz has had a very high-level commitment to the Manningham community. She's always been the voice for the people that can't speak up. She's a huge advocate for multiculturalism and for harmony, and we're very proud to have her provide such input and commitment to the Manningham community, so I'd like to congratulate Dilnaz. Thank you, councillors. Any other reports? Okay, I am going to move on, councillors, to item number 17, confidential reports. And there are no confidential reports. So that means that our meeting is closed. Thank you, councillors.